What gets me going is art, history, music. If I walk there with a large paunch and I look like an old guy, how will you look at me? I am just a Mumbai guy. The best unwinding is my two grandchildren. Nothing beats that. We are in a serious business, but we don't have to do our business seriously.
A quote or book line that has stayed with you for years.
Success is at the other end of fear. I think the best thing I can do is to go home and ask my mom to cook me rasawala muthia. I know my wife is going to hate me for saying this, but the way she cooks it is heaven, bliss. You forget everything.
Dinesh, we've always known you as a CEO of Dhruva Advisors. Now that we've got this opportunity to know you beyond the boardroom, me and Anuj have chalked out some questions for you.
And we are really excited to have this session with you.
So Dinesh, you have this amazing collection of old tax and legal documents. Sounds like treasure trove to me. So what's that most quirkiest thing you would have found in that treasure? Sometime I'm assuming you would have, took it out, looked at them.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me. When you guys came and said that let's do a fun interview, I thought in our office, fun normally means finding a solution for our client and enjoying about it. But of course, beyond all of that fun on tax, we have our own fun in the office and works in the office. So delighted that we can share some lighter moments. And to your question as to when I look at my old collection of papers, incidentally, I may just mention that I am actually a philatelist and my hobby is stamp collection. And this perchance, I have collected a treasure trove of old papers. And one of those papers is right here in the boardroom of Dhruva. A very nice letter in 1931 written by a prince of a princely state to Her Majesty in UK, saying that the allocation of funds between center and state is unfair. And we're getting almost a century later and the same thing continues even today, the allocation of revenues between center and state.
How much time do you spend on going back to those papers?
I spend decent amount of time. It's not about quantity, it's more about quality. I can sit down for hours and just go on with it.
Lovely.
So that basically seems to be our unwinding time.
The best unwinding is my two grandchildren. Nothing beats that. So unwinding is family, grandchildren, art, stamp collection, old papers, all of this stuff.
So most people think tax to be a very complicated and at times boring subject, but you seem to loving it. And maybe if I could use the word, you have mastered it. So what's that one very funny or very unexpected thing about tax that most people don't know about?
Most times I find that people do not really understand that tax is a subset of business. Business is the dog or the elephant and tax is the tail. Now sometimes the tail can be very heavy, it can demand on the body, but the tail cannot wag the body. That's something which you don't understand. And the funny part is that when you start talking to clients and you start talking to them tax from a business perspective, the conversations are very, very different compared to when you tend to be technical. And that's what makes taxes very, very enjoyable. Are you able to plug in a need which our client has in business as opposed to finding some technical solution somewhere along the line? If you start focusing on that technical solution, you will not enjoy the thing. If you say that, yes, this is the business, this is what keeps my client awake at night, and this is the solution I can provide, how do you tailor that? That's the fun part of it.
So that's really a nice perspective to hear about.
So Dinesh, I have some next question on work-life balance. So right now, we are the generation talking about balance, talking about flexible hours, meaningful breaks. For us, obviously work is a part of life. But I'm sure the time where you come from, things are a little different. So how would you relate your working day today and your working back in your, say, 20s or early 30s?
I can quite relate to that question. It's a very interesting question. I remember it was in early 1980. I was interviewed by one of the senior partners in Ratan Mama and Company, and he liked me and he said, yes, the job is yours. I just appeared for my final exam and was just wanting to start my career immediately. And I happened to ask him a question, what are the office hours? And that was not with a view to curtailing the hours, but just to know when should I come to the office. And he said, well, it's very simple. You come half an hour before I come and you leave half an hour after I leave.
Oh my
He
God.
actually said that. And he was a work maniac, if I may say so. And there was nothing like a weekend for him. So we were on calls at all points of time.
Oh my God.
And I think the profession has moved a lot since there. Number of changes you see today. Earlier there was a point of time when you said you came, you worked very hard. Maybe 20 years later you reap fruits. No longer. The youth today wants results of what they are doing immediately. Second is there is this whole focus on work-life balance. And finally, this whole thing about mental health being spoken about. And I value all of it. I think I relate to the younger generation. There is this flippant thought process that the younger generation is not too involved and they are Twitter generation and don't go into depth. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's a generation which likes to work hard and party harder. And nothing is better than that, because so long as you are achieving what you set out to achieve, both in terms of work and in terms of life, that's a great place to be in. And I think it's also an evolution of how the economy itself is doing. My generation was a generation where most people came from middle class, lower middle class. Today there is an affluence, and when you grow up under affluent parents, you have seen life and you want to enjoy it. I really love this. I wish I was growing up in these times.
So, just on a related aspect, at least on the floor, you are known to be very super enthusiastic about fitness. You never miss a session. So, what's your secret? And on days when motivation is low, how do you really manage to drag yourself to a workout?
Physical fitness, I think, is a prerequisite to any mental fitness. I believe that for a person to be successful in life, the first requirement is to be selfish. And that selfishness comes from looking after yourself. If you can't look after yourself, you can't look after your family. If you can't look after yourself and your family, to say that you're going to be a CEO of an organization as demanding and as vibrant as Dhruv is, it can't happen. So you first got to look after yourself. And then, of course, I walk into the office and I see all of you young 30s fit, and I say, if I walk there with a large paunch and I look like an old guy, how will you look at me? And I don't want to be that. I want you to not to comment to say, oh, what a boss we have. He is not fit at all.
I think this is a very strong message to all the youngsters out here.
Yeah, I agree. So, Dinesh, I would like to talk about leadership. Everybody says leadership it's pretty serious, it's very thoughtful, right? But in your leadership tenure, have you had any funny or unexpected thing that happened with you, and if you would want to share that with us?
Believe it or not, this actually happened. So, as a part of the leadership team, we were meeting in one of the business centers of a hotel. And we had to sit that day, full day, strategy meet, whatever, and talk about how do we take the tax practice further, etc. This is not Dhruva, this is part of another organization where I was a leader. And we walk in and we find a writing board full of whole strategy of the competitor. They had a meeting earlier and somebody forgot to wipe the board off. It was right out there, and we said, oh gosh, we have got something to think about.
Piece of advice to debate and discuss.
And you might find me that anytime at the end of the meeting, I will always rub the board. People come and say, no, we'll do it. I say, no, I'll do it myself, because you just learn that is something super.
If you could pick a song or artist, that's your work anthem, what would that be?
You look at an Indian iconic singer like a Freddie Queen. His anthem was "Don't Stop Me Now." And when I'm in my flow, whether it is putting a thought on how to restructure something, how to defend something, how to litigate something, how to strategize something, the only thing which comes to me is "Don't stop me now." And of course, I go on getting reminded that "Don't Stop Me Now" was not a motivational thing. It was to communicate that I am on a roll and don't stop me. But it motivates me nonetheless.
You have the other aspect to look into it.
Absolutely.
Super.
Absolutely.
So, just coming to another aspect, which is at least makes a lot of meaning to me, food. Generally, people have their comfort food, their go-to food, which makes them feel happy, acts as a stress buster. Which is yours?
So I am a foodie. And so people believe that I like fancy food. But really, my comfort food, two, which is a nice South Indian idli with a good sambar, or a khichdi kadi, Gujarati. But you spoke about stress buster. I can tell you that if I'm down, not in feeling good about whatever, I think the best thing I can do is to go home and ask my mom to cook me rasawala muthia. And the way I know my wife is going to hate me for saying this, but the way she cooks it is heaven, bliss. You forget everything.
I'm sure Seema also would make something which is heaven, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what would that be?
Oh, she's quite a good cook. But more important, if she's around, as it is, things vanish. She is an absolute stress buster. When you growing up the way I did, you mentioned about how I started my career and the amount of time. I think the sacrifices that she has made, I can't even list them. And that includes tolerating my tantrums, my early morning flights, to looking after education of Dhruvi, Disha. Most of the times, the parents' meet was as if they had a single parent. So
She's been your biggest supporter.
I owe a lot of my success to what she has been doing.
Wow, that's a delight thing. I'm happy that I really feel good, when people talk about their spouses in their career. So that makes me really glad about it. So next question is my personal favorite, Dinesh, and I'm really excited to, listen the answer. If it was not this whole CEO or the tax guru thing, what is the alternative career you can, think of? What would that have been?
I actually sometimes wonder that was it economic necessity which drove me to commerce, otherwise I should have been an art student. And that's something, I enjoy literature, I enjoy philosophy, I enjoy art, I enjoy music. So I'm supposed to be otherwise out and out an art student and not a commerce student at all. So that would have been the alternate career.
Oh, I'm glad you're a commerce student. So we crossed the paths.
And this is news to us. As in, I don't think a lot of people know that you have such a great passion and liking for music. Here's the last question from us. So, typically for us, Dhruva means a brand. It's a family to us. We have all been here. So, what is that one thing about Dhruva culture or a team out there which makes you super proud? Something which brings smile to your face?
As a CEO, if I was asked that what is your biggest job, it is really to reorient people, to come back and say that you came into this profession to be proud of what you are doing as professionals and to enjoy what you are doing. Somewhere on the line, in this rut for growth, larger numbers, career progression, we just forgotten what it is to enjoy the profession. And I think in Dhruva, we tried to see that you really enjoy what you are doing. I keep on telling partners that the word partnership in most large organizations has become a career milestone. There is no really true partnership between people, and creating that culture of partnership among partners of Dhruva, making people enjoy what they are doing. Work-life balance is one part of it. But while you are at work, do you feel good about what you are doing? Do you enjoy your colleagues? Are you just chasing relentless numbers growth? Making that culture shift in Dhruva has been the biggest source of satisfaction and biggest source of joy for me. People talk lots of things about Dhruva, how we have grown, numbers, market, type of clients. None of that matters. It's this, that are we enjoying every single day what we are doing? That's what makes us.
So Dinesh, next we have some rapid fire round for you. So where we don't let you really think. So it has to be, within a second you have to tell the answer, okay? So
Dinesh and not think is
I know
part of
it's
it.
contradictory, but sorry for that. So are you ready?
Yep.
So one app you use every single day other than WhatsApp and Outlook, okay?
I use Perplexity AI virtually almost every day.
So going next, a quote or book line that has stayed with you for years.
The quote which keeps me going is that success is at the other end of fear, and you will regret in your life what you didn't do. You will never regret what you did. So never have that regret that you did not do something. Take plunges, be adventurous, don't be afraid of failure. Success is at the other side of fear.
Will your favorite city be Mumbai or Dubai, and why?
I will just take the liberty of not answering this question in one word. I think it is one of my biggest regrets of life. If you ask me what were your regrets in life, I would say the one thing which I never did was to live outside of Mumbai. I was just a Mumbai guy. And I think that to be a complete personality, you need to be in another environment, enjoy another place. As of now, the favorite place is Mumbai. Because that's where I've been growing up. That's where there's a city I have experienced. But this is a regret of life.
Weekend indulgence that never fails you.
For the last 5 years, grandsons.
Wow.
It never fails me.
I think that's the most unique rapid fire round I have had. Thank you so much for your time, Dinesh.
Thank you for having me. You know, we are in a serious business, but we don't have to do our business seriously. And I'm glad that in this office we have lots of fun, lots of laughter. That's what makes the organization human. And thank you again for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.